Brilliant. 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 Hello, Kay.
Yeah,
Hello, Kay. How are you, Magical Kay? How are you? How are you?
I'm doing
Oh,
very
look at you.
Ah, so pretty, so
well.
beautiful. Magical. Say that again.
How are you all doing?
Most
Oh,
excellent.
yeah, good.
Most excellent. Most excellent.
Good,
Most excellent.
good,
How
good.
about you? How about you, Kay?
Well, um, the sun is shining. It's going to be a normal temperature today.
Mhm.
I have been spending all this time in the last 2 days trying to save my flowers.
Mm.
And, we had this, weather in Oklahoma is always a crapshoot, as they say, Um,
Yeah.
it's very changeable and unpredictable. And, but at this time of year, I mean, never that they said never. If we if we had one flake of snow, it would be a record because we have never had this kind of weather this late in the year.
Wow.
And we did not. I don't think we did have any snow, but supposedly we were going to have frost. And so all of my beautiful flowers,
Wow.
I mean, it was really interesting. And I was pretty proud of myself because, oh my gosh, it's a lot of work to try to cover them all up. And, so I was up in Tulsa and, no, for Erica's recital and came home and it was like almost 80 degrees. I mean, it was gorgeous, beautiful weather, normal. And so it was supposed to be cold the next day. So I spent like 2 hours covering up flowers with, you get out sheets, old sheets, and you have to, go through this whole huge thing. And so I spent all kinds of time doing that. The next morning I got up, the wind had blown almost everything down. Um, and they were saying it was going to rain, which would get all the sheets wet and, create a further problem. So
Yeah.
we went out, took everything down, brought everything back in the house. Also ended up bringing some caterpillars in, which I didn't. They were
Not
on the seat.
anticipated. Yeah.
Um, and I was really struggling with, and I know it sounds, I mean, I'm finding myself sort of apologizing for this, so I'm trying not to do it to do that.
Brilliant. 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 Yes. Awesome.
But I can step back and see what kind of thinking was going on there. That my flowers are not a life shattering issue, so
Exactly.
I shouldn't
Exactly.
feel terrible about it. But I was upset, and I care about them, and I have put in a lot of effort. There's something that's
There
important.
you go. That's something to care
Right?
about. Your investment of energy. Yeah.
So it's okay that I'm unhappy
Yes.
about this.
Uh,
I don't need to rate my
yeah.
levels of unhappiness against someone else's.
I'm trying to figure out why you would even think to apologize for it. If it's important to you, it's important to you. End of story.
Well, there's a lot of things going on in the world that are, I mean, it's comparison basically is what it is.
Ah,
Uh,
ah, but.
so okay, I've been trying to work on my hair too.
It's
So
all good. Folks.
so anyway, I recognized that and I stopped doing that. But I was really, really unhappy about the whole thing. I was unhappy that you have something that you really like, that's really valuable to you, that you really care about. You work hard to make it happen. And, like 2 hours, it's all kind of ruined or potentially could all be ruined. And I'm I'm like, living in Oklahoma is just, it is just so hard. And,
Yeah.
the weather here is just crazy. And I was just really annoyed. And I was annoyed at the weathermen because I mean, and I shouldn't be because I can't imagine their job. I mean,
Yeah.
trying to predict the weather around here is,
Yeah.
but, they also have a tendency to um, sensationalize the weather.
Oh yeah. Well, I got to get ratings and views. So yeah.
Well, and it's a big thing. Watching the weather in Oklahoma is a big thing. The weather
It's a
people,
spectator sport.
the weather people are like rock stars around here,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we all do. And when it's stormy and we're having tornadoes and stuff, these people are really important. And
Yeah.
so there's a huge thing with that. But they do sensationalize in order to
Yeah. Yeah.
get the ratings and get the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So are your plants ruined?
are they what?
Are they ruined, your flowers, or did you
Yes,
save them?
I did see
Oh.
them. But
Yay!
yay! But before that, when I
Ah,
was feeling really upset, um, I kept thinking to myself, not negative, not negative, not negative.
yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
I'm
Brilliant.
outside just, but I'm thinking to
Brilliant.
myself, not negative. You don't have to
Mm,
be positive, but not
exactly.
negative.
Brilliant.
So I
Yes,
was
okay.
able to
Yes, yeah.
work on that. And then I started thinking, okay, first of all, I have been impeccable. I have done everything I know how to do to protect
Mm,
the flowers. I've been out there, I've put all these sheets everywhere. My neighbors are making fun of me, And now I just have to trust. And
there
that's
you
all I
go.
have left. And so there you go.
That's all you got to do. It's all that's
And
left. Yeah.
I also thought to myself, okay, I also trust that there is something good about this whole situation.
Yes,
There is
yes,
there is a lesson for me to learn. There is something
yes,
that is going to be progressive as a result of this experience.
yes,
And
yes, yes.
um, I thought to myself, one of the things might be that it's going to propel me into being ready to move somewhere. And
There you go. See how magical the circumstance is.
right,
It's revealed to you what is important to you,
right, right, right.
and
And
what stresses you, and what leverages you, and what puts pressure on you, and what you don't particularly care for.
right. It was interesting because I have seen,
What do I
I
want?
I do that Weight
What
Watchers.
do I want? What do I want?
Exactly. Um,
What?
I have seen posts from people all over the country who actually had a lot of snow, and
Yes.
they have posted their flowers, and so it's not like I think
Yeah.
just living here, so that was helpful. That was a perspective shift, I think,
Yeah.
for me. But um, I'm trying to think of what else. There were some other, there were several lessons that I was able to learn from it, and good things that
Well, let's
happened.
hear. Let's hear. Let's hear.
And well, I just feel like the biggest lesson is applying what I am learning, and
Mm.
um,
Yes.
having
And
the
remembering to apply it.
yes, yes, and doing it even though I didn't really want to, because I really
Yeah.
wanted to just be mad about it. And but I kept thinking, not negative, not negative, and
Yeah.
so that was good. So anyway, I did. Last night I went out again, and because they finally got to the place where they said, okay, tomorrow early morning is going to be when we're going to have the frost. So I put the sheets back on. I also found a better way to do it. Put the sheets on. Um,
Mm.
the first day, I was trying to keep the sheets from touching the plants and bending them,
Mm, mm,
and
mm,
so I
mm.
put these big stakes up, and it made it like a sailboat. I mean, that's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
big.
yeah. I'd imagine. Yeah, yeah.
So found a better way to do it, which was good. And I also thought, this virtually happens every year. I mean, something. We either have hail or
Yeah, yeah.
frost or something. So why do I scramble every year to come up with this? I need to come up with a system that is more efficient and more
Yeah,
helpful
yeah,
than everything else.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Or plant flowers later.
well, they're not that kind. They're perennials that just you plant them once and
I see.
yeah, I don't have any annuals out yet. I at least,
Right, right.
but but these are my favorite flowers, my favorites, and
So it was the effort.
for them to be ruined, I was like just beside
Yeah,
myself.
yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, it occurred to me, okay, well, I need to start thinking. I need to be strategic. I need to um, be planning ahead and thinking ahead and coming up with some ways. And I mean, I thought to my, I don't know that this would happen, but I thought, well, maybe if I do this, I will think of something that is really good and really helpful and that might be something that other people could use. Who knows? So,
Ah,
so there are good things that can happen because of this. And so, anyway, I did go out, I put the stuff back on, and and then I went to bed and I just really didn't worry about it because I was impeccable and now I have to trust.
fantastic,
And
fantastic.
so I got up this morning and went out and covered everything, and everything looks good. And oh, the other thing that is interesting, I don't know, my table is kind of messy, but I'm going to try to turn my camera around so you can see. My entire kitchen table is covered with flowers. They
Wow.
and this was something I thought about this morning. I was really mad because I had to bring all the iris in. They were too tall to cover up. And so
Wow.
I had to cut. I was so excited. I had worked really hard on my flower beds and I had fertilized and I had done all this stuff. And the flowers responded by, just going
Going
crazy.
crazy.
I
Wow.
had, I think I counted like 30 stalks, and each stalk had
Wow.
like 4 or 5 flowers on it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
so excited because it was going to be this whole big, beautiful thing. And then I had to
Oh.
cut them all. And I usually cut some,
Hmm.
but I virtually had to cut all the ones that were tall. Well,
Wow.
it ended up, I have these huge, beautiful, spectacular bouquets.
Wow.
I don't usually do it that way. I usually just cut a couple,
Yeah.
and I do.
Yeah. Spread
I
them out. Spread them out.
think
Yeah.
I do that because that's the way my grandmother did it. But I have discovered I like the big, beautiful ones that fold,
Wow.
and it
See, that
yeah.
was a nice revelation for you.
And I thought, the whole thing with like wearing the all the diamonds and using the pretty china and all that stuff. And it's the big bouquets are kind of like the same thing. It's okay for me to have beautiful things and enjoy them and have
Yes.
big, beautiful, gorgeous things. It doesn't have to be this false modesty thing.
Exactly.
And so that's an
See.
interesting thing that has happened. And I'm going to try to turn it around. And like I said, there's a lot of other junk on my table, so I apologize for that. But
No problem.
try.
No problem. We're happy with that.
Okay.
Fantastic. I'm so keen to see this.
Okay.
Very keen.
Well,
Very
let's see.
keen.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to show up because of the light.
There we
Oh,
go.
yes.
Yeah, there it
Oh,
goes.
yes.
Wow. Beautiful.
I gotta come over here.
Wow. Wow.
Now,
Oh,
aren't they?
oh, that's spectacular. Oh, it showed perfectly, Kay. Showed perfectly. Beautiful. So, are they still in the soil? You kept
No,
them
They're
as
breaking.
pot plants?
I cut them. I cut them and put them in
Oh,
vase.
oh! I thought you just put them in a pot to make them live a little longer.
Well, the iris, the purple ones, have like a little tuber thing,
Mm.
and they all those are still in the ground. And
Oh, okay.
if you cut the flower off, it doesn't affect the plant at all. So they will be fine, and they will
Oh,
come.
they'll just regrow again. I got you. All right.
So
Cool, cool, cool,
I'm
cool.
trying to fix this darn thing. There we go. But the other part was I also thought to myself, okay, I've got these 3 giant bouquets, and I thought I should, put a couple of them in different places in the house. And then I thought, no, this is where I am spending most of my time. I'm leaving them all in here on the kitchen table, and I'm going to enjoy them all. I don't want them in another part of the house where I don't even see them.
Brilliant. 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 Brilliant.
So
Most brilliant. Most brilliant.
I am learning to enjoy and be okay with enjoying.
And to celebrate enjoying.
Celebrate enjoying.
Yes. Okay. So I have something very important to share.
Okay.
Very important. All right. So those movies that all doom and gloom, and it's like in the future or whatever, or the medieval times, and evil has fallen upon the land, and Sauron is walking the earth, and God. All right.
Hate
And
those
it's all dark and gloomy, and then you get all the people huddling around, and they planning and plotting and scheming and all this. Right? So in those type of environments, it's all stuff to worry about. It's all serious and all this. Legitimately so. But it's all total imbalance, yes. And typically in those movies, there's always some little small, tiny, bright thing that
Right.
for the rebels, the oppressed, that makes all the difference in the world, right? That one little child's toy, or the little flower that's growing, or the leaf of grass that's sprouting up. My point is, if you have only a focus on the serious and the earnest and all the stuff of the world, without the balance of joy, you end up living in those kinds of worlds, right? So it's the importance of those flowers. It's the balance to all the rubbish in the world.
Good point. Very good point. Yes.
So now, when you look at it in this context, yes, when you were looking to justify your efforts we're not looking, but we're considering, is this worth the effort to save my flowers? They're not the most important thing in the world. They actually are. They actually are. When you really consider, remove this, and you have this massive weight on the other side, and boom, the scale just clang, and it's a whole imbalance, yes? So these little things are as important as everything else. Absolutely. We cannot ever forget this. When we do, we have this lopsided imbalance, and you can forget about it. Now, this is a downward spiral. Even though you focused on important things and earnest things, your mood, your spirit, your energy, your motivation all goes. It all becomes sort of pointless. And then you end up in doom and depression, and you forget it. Yeah, it becomes miserable. So, no, these things are as important as anything else. They are absolutely worth every bit of effort. It's critical, absolutely critical. So it's not only to enjoy joy, but to celebrate joy, to understand its importance. Yes, not just joy, but the light and beauty and preciousness and magic and wonder and awesome and all of this. Right?
Right. Okay, I'm trying to write a little bit here. Oops. That's really true. And I don't think, for me, I wasn't feeling like the effort wasn't worth it to me. I was just
It's a
feeling,
question.
I was
Yeah.
feeling defeated. No matter how
Ah,
much effort I put in, it just wasn't going to happen. And
ah, ah.
so, you know, but
Yeah. Well, that's
I was
always
I was
in the
glad that,
Euro story, isn't that? Yeah, in
right?
the Euros journey, isn't there always that point in the nadir where the Euros like, oh, my efforts aren't going to work, and you think it's all over, and the Euros, and then something miraculous happens, and then well, there you go, it all turns around, right?
Right.
Or the Euro persists despite their despondency, and it all turns out good. Yeah.
There you go. Well,
Yeah. Let me ask you something on your plants for a more permanent solution.
yes,
Your flowers, are they sort of grouped in little clusters? I'm thinking of getting something essentially like like you put over a cake, the
right.
transparent cake cover.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and with a couple of holes in it that you can just go and plop over your plants when bad weather comes. A little dome, a little mini hothouse for each cluster of plants.
Well, of course, these particular plants have been in the ground for since, the 1970s.
Well,
um,
then, why? And you always protect them from the late snows, or not?
well, we don't usually have late snow. We have,
Because, or frost. I mean, they may have a
we might
frost
have,
resistance to them.
oh yeah, they're hardy, and iris are very hardy. But this year it was so, normally you can just plop things over the top like that when they're
Mm.
first coming up. But this year it was so late that the plants were like probably 2.5 feet tall. And
Oh,
um,
wow.
they were
Huh.
just almost ready to bloom, and you couldn't put things just over the top. And um, so it's just a giant mess. But I mean, I would really like to. I've thought about this for a while, and I feel like I'm getting closer. Um, my mom loved the flowers, but she did not love gardening, and so she didn't take care of anything really. And
Mm.
so I have spent a lot of time, trying to get the weeds and all of that stuff out of there. And the whole thing needs to be redone, really. Um, there's been a lot of erosion. It needs new dirt in there. The plants need to be divided. And I would love to do that. I have not made that much effort yet, and you do that in the fall. So um, I am hoping that this next fall, that's kind of my plan, is to get in there. And I actually, I'm thinking about it. Once they're finished blooming, I might be able to move them. It's just that here it's going to get so hot. In the summer, it gets so hot that if you try to move things and then it gets really hot, it is really hard on the plants. So usually you wait till fall. But but I can see what things need to be done, and I've got some ideas. And actually, climbing around over everything and trying to put all that stuff on there, I realized that things have grown together so much
Uh-huh.
that it's hard to, there's not really spaces to step through. I was stepping all over this
Oh,
strawberry.
wow. Oh, wow.
So that's something
Mm.
that I would like to change. And I do enjoy it. So I think I will be able to go out and make some changes. It would be helpful to um, make some changes. So
Excellent. Excellent. So next time somebody wants to take you on a date, say, sure, we can go on a date. I got a date right here. It's going a gardening date.
Ah, there you go.
They want to date you, take them gardening, and there you go. You know, you get to spend time together, you get to be doing stuff together, and you make nice
Yeah,
refreshments and stuff, and there you go. All right.
there you go.
Yeah. If
That's
you want to
what I
date
need.
me, you gotta like come on, put a little bit of effort into it. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. See how serious. Why not? I'm
There you
really serious about this, It's a great idea,
go.
actually. I think if a lot more women did this, it get to see the real character of people. Because when you do a project like that and you
True.
work together, you get to see somebody. And also, you've got an activity which you're not forced to be talking all the time, and you got that awkwardness. You
Right.
can do your stuff. It's more relaxed. It's more casual. Much more efficient. Much more effective, and much more real.
Well, there you go. I'll see what I can find out.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if they, otherwise they wouldn't get the date. And if they know that, hey, this is better than nothing, boy. I'll take what you can get. So,
Well, I haven't run across any of those people yet, but you never know. You never know. So we'll find out.
uh,
Sarah just opened up the gate and went out into the rest of the house and got her ball, and she's come back.
she wants to play. Interesting.
I guess
Those,
so. I guess
yeah,
so.
those grubs that you brought in, by the way, the caterpillars. I hope you
Do
mixed
what?
them in the caterpillars that you brought in accidentally. I hope you mixed them into
I
Sarah's
I
food.
put
Oh, oh.
I no, I put them back outside.
I
I
mean,
don't
that's
know.
great source of protein for Sarah. She'd love it. I'm
No.
really serious. If you mash
Well,
them up, oh, all
no,
insects are great sources of protein. Yeah.
no, not gonna happen. Now, especially for
I mean,
Sarah,
what you won't eat, but Sarah wouldn't mind.
no, but Sarah has a very specific
Oh,
diet
just a
because
delicate stomach.
otherwise,
That's fine.
otherwise she gets terrible diarrhea, and I'm not willing to.
All right.
So, all that.
Anyway,
So anyway, all that whole big story, but it was um, it was good. I mean, I feel like it was really good. I feel like it was a real life, day to day way to apply what I am learning. So
fantastic.
I thought it was good.
Fantastic. Fantastic. It is. It's huge. In tiny little things, the profound resides. And when we
Exactly.
can learn to see that, our whole world explodes. Yes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So interesting.
We can learn from absolutely everything. Right, Beena?
Yes.
Absolutely
But
everything.
this is really interesting for me that, okay, I think in my experience so far, I am seeing you first time with this energy. You said that, okay, I was angry and I was like really
I
upset
know.
about this. You never been, and for me at least, and I'm just, okay, for my personal curiosity, when was the last time you feel this energy? This type of.
Oh gosh. I get that energetic and kind of angry energetic when, with politics, with
Yes.
things about school, um,
Injustice,
you know,
unfairness.
injustice, unfairness, exactly. And I mean, really, that is the thing with the flowers, injustice and unfairness, and that is what gets me wound. Yeah,
It is a
and
And
very
okay, yes, you shared about your concern about politics and then the situation at school you shared, but that was different. This time it is different. Okay, at least for us, we never feel. I think that we never experienced this before. And I was thinking that, okay, once we start opening ourselves up about the things we really want to, like it's just a small gesture that you change your hairstyle, and okay, it was incremental because first you just remove your bangs and then now, okay, it was, for me it was like symbolic coming out.
right, right,
And then, yes, exactly. For me it was like that, and now the hairstyle you change and then you start doing things what you always thinking that was yours, that was you actually, those wearing your diamonds because it was yours and you like that, but you were not doing that. So for me it is like just getting more and more close to who we really are.
Right.
And it stirs up a lot of energy. This situation might be in the older times. It was like, okay, yes, it is what it is. You might feel a bit sad and then say, okay. But now you are feeling that I can express myself. So for me, the more we are getting closer to who we really are, the more expressive we become about our feelings and our true self.
Right. I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's a very, very expressive and very bold energy. It is what is coming out, which is really, really good.
Yeah,
We
it is.
need to be, yeah, exactly. We need to be more expressive about it. Of course, this thing like seems like that, oh, it's negative. For me, it is not negative. It is just an expression. Yeah, for me, it is an expression. But I am not feeling good about it. This is not something supposed to be happening. No, it is not fair. It shouldn't be happen. Or it is just an expression.
Right.
And being vocal about what we really feel about these things.
Right.
And it is something really magical. As again, it is coming to the same analogy that whenever we try to create some sort of harmony, some sort of newness, beauty, it all starts with chaos. We start to organize our room, the first thing happened, chaos. Oh my god, everything's out, everything is all messed up. It
Right.
happens. So when we are trying to true to ourselves, it is exaggeration, bit of exaggeration, because we are not really comfortable with expressing things and feelings.
Right.
So it's a good news. It's a good news that you are expressing yourself,
Yes.
and you're actually not at that moment, but you are expressing it right now also.
Right. I think that's a really good point. And I think it goes along so closely with the whole idea of apologizing. Yeah. You know, and this sort of false modesty thing.
Yes. Lack of self-trust is the root there.
Yes. Let me open this gate and
Sure.
let Sarah back in.
Yes.
What are you doing? Come on in here.
So, Beena, did you see when I was pointing?
Oops. Okay. Back. Beena, where's your picture? Okay, my hair.
My painting, what I was painting.
No, your face.
Okay, sorry. So I was like, because I'm taking art classes, so I
Yeah.
was just thinking about that my painting. Oh, I made.
Oh.
I did my first oil painting, by the way.
You did? Oh, how cool.
Yes. Okay, just let me give me a minute, and then I will show you my first painting and also that. Okay.
Still, I'm not hearing you very well. I don't know. Your mouth is moving, but I can't hear you.
Yes, sir. No, you're mute.
Ah, you. I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Is he doing it on purpose, do you think? I don't know.
I don't know. He was saying something, and I was not getting. He was saying something about maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know. He's still talking, but I can't hear him. So you did an oil painting. That is really exciting.
Yes, the first
I didn't
ever.
realize that I accidentally muted myself. I said, talking
Yes,
about.
I was saying, Sil, you are mute.
I misunderstood. Sorry. I said talking about certain talking about artistic endeavors. Certain installments have been very long in coming.
Oh, well, good.
Yes.
I'm glad. I'm so glad to do it.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Well, there's never pressure. There's no must or have to on it. No should. But still, it would be nice. It is something that is a good project to get into. There you go. Principal Patrick.
Well, and I can't find my other ones, so I have to use these, and they're all smudgy, but I'm going to put them on anyway.
Yeah. Well, you know, the writing, the Katie Bird story, that's a powerful thing. There's a lot to it, you know, there's some honest to it. And if you get into it and it starts to continue, it becomes it becomes a projected journal. And that's very powerful. You know, you get to put yourself, your moreness, you get to extrapolate your aspirations, your ideals, your ambitions, etc. Very powerful.
Okay,
Very
wait.
powerful.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you
So
know,
you were
something to
breaking
just
big
keep
time
in
for
mind.
me.
Sorry, Beena, you're a little soft again.
You are breaking
Uh,
up. We can't
Oh.
hear a lot of what you're saying. Okay, so that's what she's saying.
I just said Beena's soft.
you're breaking.
Go ahead, Beena.
Okay, I'm not hearing from you. So, okay. So first thing is,
Okay, we want to see your.
hello. Okay. So this
Not so good to see me on this camera.
guys are frozen for me. Is it that mesmerizing?
That's
A
right.
little higher, Beena. A little higher, higher.
Okay.
There you go. Come closer.
Oh, look at that. That is beautiful.
That's
Wow,
something.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
You are very talented.
yeah, yeah.
So this is my first ever oil paint because I never actually did that before. So I choose that very small one because I was thinking that I might to hide it somewhere. So I said, okay, the smaller one because I don't want to throw it out because this would be my first one. So I choose a deliberately very small canvas for that.
Oh, really? That's a good idea.
Yes.
Ah, very cool. Hang it up there on the wall behind you, please, Beena.
Yes.
Somewhere.
And want to show you something more about this, what I'm doing so far in my
You're very
art class.
honored to get treated to all this, by the way, Kay. I'm not sure why you are getting treated to it, but you are. So who knows?
I'm just very lucky today.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. So this was my pencil color drawing first.
Right, I remember that. It was so beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the second one is this. And then it was my first pencil sketching. I
Wow.
think I shared with you. It was my first still life.
Right.
And this is my own jewelry box, a small tiny one here, and then I have a pot. So
Wow, it's beautiful.
yeah, it's a lamp I have. And then it was this with pointer.
Dragonfly. Love it.
Yes.
I love dragon.
And it is drawn with pointer, and this one is with charcoal.
Oh, wow.
So because I have taken an introductory class to fine arts, so they are showing all the mediums.
Yeah. How fun.
Ah, the connection. Doing those things that we always wanted to do that we never got to do.
Right.
This is the point here. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
It's important. Right, Beena? It's a big deal. Beena.
My first drapery.
oh, wow.
To paint texture, the art, you know,
This
the
one
practice. Style.
Is the project. Okay. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's awesome.
Yes. So it was a project for drapery, and I used this leather belt.
Wow.
They were all making curtains, and I choose to draw this leather belt. So you saw that first one, yes?
Yes. Wow. That's awesome. So what is your favorite, what's your favorite kind of, what medium? Favorite medium?
So far, I like oil pastels and oil painting also. I don't know why I was not assuming that I would love, but oil painting is something really different.
Yeah.
Because the blending, it becomes so beautiful. Even not in oil pastels. Oil pastels need a bit force, but oil painting is very gentle, very soothing because oils are when you just blend the oils, you don't need any force to that. But oil pastels, you need a bit aggression, you need a bit force to do that. And I am enjoying more with the oil painting. And I don't know, it was like very soothing, and the blending is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
You didn't
colors which you
think
like
that was
too.
going to be the case. You didn't know that you would like oil.
Yes, I was not aware. So that's why I choose this introductory class of fine arts for 2 months. And they are just actually introducing all sort of mediums, how to use, how to just start with, and oil painting, clay molding, and then oil pastels and charcoal and pencil colors. Yes, and all and watercolor also. So all different types of mediums they were using, and collage, how to use different things.
Right.
This is something I don't know, but oil is getting more and more favorite for me.
That's
Very effortless. Yeah, it needs a bit more technical, of course, expertise,
right.
but it is very effortless, and the shine comes through very effortlessly, which I really love about oil. No aggression, no just continuously working on something. Just a one stroke can create a pattern. So I like more oil.
Cool. I love
Yeah,
it.
people say that oil pastels are easy, but for me, the gentleness of oil painting is something different, very unusual.
Very cool.
Most
Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something then. I'm gonna
Oh
try
yeah.
because I've had this idea and I don't know where it's coming from or what it will lead to, but I'm interested. You know, I like
fantastic.
photography,
Yay,
Yes.
yay. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic.
but I have, and I've had this for a while, and then I kind of lost it, and I came back. I'm coming back to it. There's this app. There's a variety of them, I guess. I'm just getting started learning about it, but it takes your photographs and it kind of, I don't know what it does to it, but it makes it into
Yes.
like a watercolor. And so I've done it to a couple of my old photos. So I'm going to try
Yes.
somehow.
Please share. Please share.
Share. Hang on, I'm going to try to get there. And let you guys look at this. Let's see. And I don't know because I want this. I'm going to try this. Here we go. Screen share. Ah,
Yeah,
share.
so the trick to screen sharing is, oh, you got it, never mind.
Oh, yes.
Wow, wow, it's one of your photos.
Yes.
Wow,
This is a storm cloud.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try another one. Let me see if I can do that. I don't know if I get rid of that. Go away. Okay, here's one. I don't know.
Wow.
Is it still sharing? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that very looks like you've painted it. Wow.
I know, isn't that interesting? Here's another one I've done. Sunflower.
Wow.
And here's another one. Did. It's just a landscape.
These came out well. Okay, I have a similar app, and well, you have to pick the photos very carefully. That I've messed about with things. You know, my profile picture on Facebook is done with an app like that, and it's
Mhm.
called
Right, right,
Lunapic.
right.
Yes. Yes.
Lunapic. Check
It's
it
what
out.
now?
It's a website, Lunapic. Lunapic. I think lunapic.com.
The Luna pick.
Just Luna.
Okay.
Lunapic.
Oh, it changed it to lunatic on my thing.
Yeah, but it's Lunapic.
Oh, but you know how
Yeah, yeah. So
the spell
lunapic.com.
check.
All right. So what's nice with Lunapic is that they give you not just watercolor, but they give you a whole range. You can mess about in styles of famous artists. Like you can make it look like
Oh,
Rembrandt or Van Gogh or whoever. And all, fiery and red and you'll see. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can blend them. So you can work with the opacity, but you can also blend. Yeah. And they just, you'll see, you can go crazy with how to blend things. Just keep in mind, sometimes when you apply an effect and you don't like it, you have to clear it and then apply the next one. Otherwise, it will overlay it. So,
Right.
But still, it's, you know, if you want to play around with the stuff, it's great. Really, really cool.
I just think it would be fun. I
Oh,
think it
it's
would be a
great.
fun.
It's great fun. It's great fun. And now, when you're working on your own photos, you'll see some, you know, if they've got a light background, they work better with certain effects and darker. And but this thing, you
Right.
can do whatever you want to do with photo manipulation. It's pretty much got it all. It's very cool. That one that you had was very good for watercolor. Um, this
Yes.
Beena pick doesn't really do watercolor and oils and all that, but still, there are others that will do that really well. Very cool. Very cool.
Okay, I'm trying to scoot over here. Um,
I never seen Beena from this angle. You see, have
Oh,
you ever seen
sorry.
Beena from this angle?
This is my next project,
wow.
charcoal drawing.
Wow,
it.
a spoutless teapot. I never seen one like that. Okay.
Yes, it is actually like this, and I was like, wow. But
So how do you pour from it? You
I
just pour out
just
the
got a
bottom?
picture.
Take off the lid and pour, I guess.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
breaking.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised that
Wow.
it is charcoal drawing. I like that too.
Yeah. Very cool. You ever been inclined to draw? Okay.
You know, I'm interested in it. I'm interested in. I don't think I have a huge natural talent, but
But you know,
I do
everybody
think I
thinks that
have.
until they start doing it. Yeah.
Right, I have an artistic sensibility,
Sorry, you were breaking.
but I don't know that I'm an illustrator or something like that. But I'm, you know, before I retired, that's what I kept saying was, when I retire, I want to be an artist. Um, I I mean, I don't, unfortunately, as
Oh,
far as
do
I
it.
know, I don't have
Do
a
it. Do it.
particular talent.
Do it. You know, the
But,
thing is with art that I've seen with people, you don't necessarily need to have an artistic sensibility. You just need to understand the basics. And if they, you know, when you do start to learn, you may need to learn the basics of the basics.
right,
You know what I mean? And sometimes, and then once you get it,
Exactly,
then it
exactly.
all starts building and compounding on each other. It's like learning your ABCs. So typically people
right.
don't start off, they start off with reading a book when, you know, you got to learn your ABCs and go through the nursery rhymes and all this stuff. So you just got to go
Right.
right down to the very core.
Exactly, sir. Because I could have taken admission in at Arts Council, but they are not starting from the basic. And I was keen to know the basic, like
Two
how to mix the oil at
Right.
first and
tools.
prepare the canvas. Just handle my brush and take how to actually take the color, because my teacher is doing a lot of things in front of me and I'm just observing her. This is what
Yes. Yes. And Bina was saying something very simple. She was holding a, I'm exaggerating now, but she was holding
yes,
a
how
brush,
to
you
draw
know,
that.
on the bottom here.
This whole charcoal drawing. Exactly. This is what I started, and I could draw without measurement, without things, but that was not being the proportion. But now I know that how to draw things and creating a proportion, and it becomes like easy because I didn't use any scale or compass or any shape. It is just with the basic structure, and that was I was keen to. So sometimes, as Sir was saying, that you don't need much of it, just very basic. How to hold the spoon. That's it. Okay, you know the food is there. You know I want to eat. You know where my mouth is. Just
But the
hold the
teacher was
spoon.
saying,
That's
you know, when
only.
you hold it
Yes.
higher up, you know, you get a much greater flexibility, which sort of makes sense when you think about it. Now, from my personal perspective, whenever I do things, I always, you know, experiment like this, try it there, and see what's happened, and do trial of error experimentations with variation, and that way you educate yourself what has been learned over. You know, the teacher can tell you, okay, well, you hold it up here, it's usually more effective. But sometimes you personally prefer a difference, or you find it works better for you, or you know what the different things do in different situations. They don't have time to teach you all of it, but it's useful to just experiment by trial and error. Very powerful.
Right.
Very powerful. So yeah, I would actually recommend this, you know, because, you know, art is a peculiar thing. Writing is a very particular power, because writing is a very peculiar emphasis, and same with drawing. It's emphasis, right? So when you do this, understanding the power of emphasis, pay attention to what you are doing. Your Katie Bird story is not a story for entertainment. It is a story for emphasizing what's of importance to you. Yes?
Right.
And same ways with your art. When you start drawing, yes, initially you're doing exercises and you're drawing boring teapots with no spouts. Okay. But you learning the technique. I'm just teasing me there, but that goes over the head.
Boring.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm trying to get a rack. No, nothing. But anyway. And my point I'm making is when you're learning the basics, you don't mind because you're learning. But once you start getting to draw and paint what you want and your emotion goes into it, again, it becomes an
Right.
exercise of self-discovery, right? So
Ooh, yeah.
writing, when we write to expand ourselves, writing becomes phenomenally expanding and expounding. Can you hear us, Beena?
Yes, yes, now. It is breaking for me, so I'm just trying to concentrate on what you are saying to make sense of it. So, yes.
I'm gonna
I
have to
like
learn
that.
sign language, Beena.
Sorry, say it again.
I'm going to have to learn sign language.
Fine. Yes, I don't know why it is happening, but yes,
You know what
we are going to learn that.
I love about the sign language, when they do the translations for the politicians or whoever, the people who do the sign language, they are so emphatic. I mean, if you had
I
to
know.
speak like them, you'd be like, "Ah, but man, they like all the emphasis going. It's too fantastic. I just love it. It's too cool. I enjoy watching them. It's very entertaining.
I think that would be a cool thing to know how to do.
What's
You
stopping
can
you?
really do.
What's stopping you?
Um, nothing, nothing.
Isn't
Just
that amazing? What's stopping you?
not getting out there and doing it.
Have internet?
Actually, when Erica had her surgery, um, we had all this stuff planned of all these things we were going to start practicing, like, and that was one of them. We were going to, start learning that. She recovered so quickly and easily that we didn't have to sit around and do stuff like that. So we went out and we're sightseeing and everything. So, but that is something that would be, I think, would be cool. I
Again,
also think knowing another language, no matter what, I mean, a
yeah.
spoken language or any language, I just cannot believe that I only speak English. I think that is so ridiculous. To be, to be, to
Well,
me, it's not.
you speak the language of teaching, you speak the language of the kitchen, you
I
speak
know,
the language of mother, so you speak a lot of languages.
yes, but I would like to speak
Cool, cool.
another human language.
All of this, like I said, when you get into these activities and we look at them from the point of self-discovery, self-exploration, and self-expansion, they take on a whole different ballgame. They reveal to you what is important to you. In other words, they reveal what you want. That's why I was encouraging you to continue with Katie Bird.
Right.
Take your daily
Yes.
walks and transform the experience. Just, abstract it, fantasize it, extrapolate it, blow it out of the water. Anything, all those little unusual things that work. They're the kernels of a story. You just keep adding and, fancifying it and blowing it up, and there you go. You got a story. But now it becomes a journal. And through doing this, you get, like I said, you get to see yourself. Very, very, very good.
Well, I know. I think when I was doing that, that is really what it was for me. It was like a journal,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, exactly.
it was taking what I was learning and putting it into story form instead of just straight, talking. And yeah,
Exactly.
writing is something that I have, you know, ever since college, I have really enjoyed, and I've done it at various times in my life, even professionally, and I do really like it. It's hard, but I do like it.
All right. So here's the thing with writing. At some point in time, I will make it into a nice formal course. I've got all the material for it, writing tips to myself. So one of the key, if you understand emphasis, writing becomes easy. Not just emphasis, but the way the brain works with emphasis. Oh, I was going to say, hey, who said you could turn off that camera? But it's it off. She's worried about her internet being slow. But anyway, if you understand emphasis and immersion, then writing really shifts. First of all, we have to realize that when we start writing, we have to provide some time and space for immersion to take hold. Yes?
Mm,
So the
right.
experience of when we start to write, we need to discount that.
Okay.
Absolutely critical. And not extrapolate. And I said, well, I'm writing and I don't know what I'm saying and it's awkward and it's not fun and I don't know what's going on and I got no inspiration. If you focus on that, that's as far as you're going to get. However, if you know that you just have to write a bunch of rubbish and then your nodes start to fire up because you emphasized on writing, and when those nodes fire up, they automatically start connecting to more and more nodes fire, and then the inspiration comes, and then you get deeper into it, and then you get, wow, this character, and you start to flesh out again, and more leads to more. And this is the key with writing. Just give some space and time for immersion to pull you in. Right? So don't get, okay, in the beginning, write ugly. Actually, write rubbish in the beginning. Always, you know, you can delete the stuff that got you to where you at. You know, you look at stories, there's always a beginning that can come before the beginning, yes?
Right, right, right.
Any story. So there's no story that actually starts in the beginning. That's not possible, right? You can always make a prequel to that, right? Have you seen some of the prequels to the Bible? You know, in the beginning was the void, the word, and the word was upon the face of the waters. I've seen some fantastic prequels to that.
Well, there kind of has to be. I mean,
Exactly, exactly. So my point is we can always throw away the nonsense part, the part that we used to draw us in and suck us in and get us immersed. We can always delete that, but it serves a valuable purpose. It serves to get you inside, get you into it. And then writing becomes easy. Now, furthermore, if you only write when you're in the mood, when writing is easy and fun, and you just have fun and you just jabbering away on the keyboard or whatever rubbish, and then it comes and then you get all excited, you start to train your brain through association that writing is easy and fun.
right. Instead
You
of
know,
being
I
hard.
started writing in, well, I first wrote the Biela series in 2011. Then there was a big gap. I pretty much didn't write anything. And then 2014, at the end of 2014, when I came on Facebook, that's when I really started writing. Okay. So I haven't been writing very long. And in the last 2 years, I've written very little, actually, just the core stuff. But in those 4
Right.
years, I probably wrote 10 million words of content.
Wow.
Now,
That's
Now, the
impressive.
point I'm trying to make is I came to this writing via attunement. The universe said, hey, you got to be doing this stuff. And okay. So I had to learn to write and to enjoy writing. I never did. I wrote
Mhm.
as a young man when I was in the army. I wrote some poetry and stuff, and I had ideas of being a writer. But then the reality of writing was very boring for me. It was very slow. I didn't care for it at all. And I'm like, no, never mind this. So I gave it up as a bad job, and I had a negative association with writing. I really did not enjoy it, but I absolutely trained myself because from between then and now, I learned to understand emphasis and association management. So I absolutely just trained myself, and now I can write no problem, whatever it is. And here's the key too: whenever I start to write, I have no clue really, and I absolutely trust it will come. As long as I have more or less an idea of a topic or something, and yes, the other key, it doesn't matter what your topic is to start with. Where it starts is not where it ends. So trust
Where it
the process.
starts.
Where it starts is not where it ends. I know it sounds muddled, but the point is, I started an adventure and I'm going to say, okay, Katie Bird is going to go sailing. But then as she goes, what happens? She comes to the boat and there's a leak in the boat. And the next thing it's something else, right? So you never know where the stories are going to go. So don't get stuck in your objective. Just trust
Right,
that
right.
where the story's going is, and run with it. I'm astonished sometimes, and this doesn't just apply to fiction stories, this even nonfiction. you know I started on some topics and I ended up writing a whole different article. It's amazing. So but you get inside it, and inspiration comes, and connectivities come, and things jump you, and like we do in the sessions, we go sideways sometimes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So when we trust that process, and this is what's going on, then this is very cool. Oh, I'm
Right.
suddenly nauseous. Excuse me.
Well, I think that was what happened with Katie Bird a lot in some of those stories. I would start writing and I had an idea of what I was talking about, and then the story just sort of took itself in a different direction, and that's how I would learn. A lot of the kind of the lessons I was trying to learn would just come. It wasn't what I expected, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. The story just went somewhere that I didn't expect, and that is kind of fun. Yeah, I should do more writing. I should start writing again. It is fun.
Carry on without me.
I don't know what happened. I just am like sitting here.
I don't know. My connection is dropping continuously. Maybe it is because of video or something. So I tried that this time without video.
I
Because
know.
I was
Well,
not able to understand that what you guys were discussing, and I was like, need to go back.
well, that has happened a lot today. It seems like that,
Yes.
somebody is, kind of falling off, but that's okay. That's all right. It doesn't bother me. Um, so I kind of would like to go back and talk about the idea of injustice and that, because I think, I'm still working on my why from that book, start with why. And I haven't gotten to talk to anybody about my stories or anything, but I do think that one of the things that is probably a thread throughout the things that are important to me are that whole idea of injustice and unfairness, and kind of sticking up for the little guy, and that whole thing. And I'm not sure what that means, or I don't know, but I do notice that it is a thread. And I think in the past I have, and I can kind of hear my mom's voice in the back of my head that, you're just being, and I feel too, you're just being, not an optimist, but I can't think of the
Overly
word.
caring.
Just like,
Overly caring.
overly caring. Okay. Um,
Yes.
well, I don't know. I mean, is it, or is it something that's not good, or is it something that's good? I mean, is it something that I should,
Either, just to understand it. That's all.
right? Overly caring. Um, whoops. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, this is all injustice and unfairness and over caring, understanding it. How does it relate when it comes to balance? Same way as your powers were important by way of balance. How do we apply capital balance in the context of fairness and injustice?
I am not hearing you very well. I'm sorry. I
Yes.
love to hear your
Oh,
question, but
sorry.
it didn't.
Still, it's very soft, and also it's a bit not clear.
It's all right. I can wait. It's all right. I'm patient.
Yes.
But I mean, it is some, and I wish I could think of the word. For some reason, I'm just like totally blanking out on the word. But I remember Phil, and of course, Phil was the absolute and complete. Well, I shouldn't say that. I started to say he was the opposite of that, but that's not really true. I think he kind of liked sticking up for the little guy too, but he tried to be Mr. Tough Guy and act like he didn't care. But that is not practical, I guess, is the the feeling that I have gotten from people that you should think more about yourself and quit worrying about everybody else, and you're not being practical and idealistic, you're being too idealistic and all of that stuff. And it's true, but I mean, it really is kind of down in there. I don't know how to change that really, or if I should.
It is one perspective works for me. In the past, when I was super concerned about a lot of things, and I was getting really into the politics and all other things, and very seriously. I was keenly observing, and I had some resources also where I could find like different perspectives, not necessarily all true, but yes, multiple perspectives. And I was following newspapers and all the uh, political shows and everything I was doing, I had discussions with my uncles and
Right.
all everyone. So it was very, very much into ours. And one of my friends just said that, okay, Beena, it is good to live in area of influence rather than area of concern.
Wait, I couldn't understand. It's good
He
to
says
live.
that, Beena, it is good to live in area of influence rather than area of concern.
I like that. Ooh.
And that was something a bit, you can say that a subtle shock for me. And I was like, for a few minutes, I was a bit speechless
Yeah.
because my mind was like, really? And how? And then a lot of questions. And then I realized that, yes, this is, I need to really, really be clear about what are my area of influence, because how much and where I can really create anything, any
Right.
change, any influence, any kind of new perspective, or where I can't.
Right.
And that was the moment it shifted a lot in my life. So the area of concerns and area of influence are a big deal for me. So when anything comes up to me, I feel that because I feel concerned about so many things, countless things in this world, really. I feel concerned about how the prices, economy is going, even in other countries. I feel concerned about that. Like, no, it is going to break and affect a lot of people in the life. I feel concerned about so many species in this world. I
Right.
feel concerned about a lot of other things. But where is my area of influence?
Right. That's really good. I like that. That is super helpful.
Yes. And interestingly, my area of influence is very limited. I can increase that. I can, okay, make it a bit bigger if I want to, but it has to be in proportion, my area of concern and my area of influence. Unfortunately, it is not possible for me to actually get in proportion, like exactly same. No, my concerns are still very, very vast, and my area of influence is very limited still. So what I did that I just shift my focus on my area of influence.
Right.
It is not like that these things are not still in my consideration. I do think about that, but I don't really bother by that because
Right.
I know that it is not my area of influence. So whatever I'm going to do in my area of concern might be possibly will be driven by ego.
Right. Right. Right.
but where my area of influence, and sometimes we neglect our area of influence is just
Right.
because of
Right.
concern.
Right.
Because I'm concerned about so many things, I drain my energy because of that. So I don't have enough energy to do whatever is possible
Right.
and available to me. So the shift of perspective from area of influence to area of, from area of concern to area of influence is really huge. It will
Right.
give so much peace, and it will give you, it will save so much of energy also. And it will not, it kind of minimize our chances to fall into that ego nonsense again.
Right. Right. Ah, that's really good. Very good. And you know, I mean, using our energy in the best possible way is being impeccable.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why connectivity is a huge deal for me, because if it makes connection to other thing, like it now it is making connection to impeccability,
Right.
it makes sense to me, then I see that, okay, now it has a value because it is not contradictory to my basic philosophy, basic ideology of my life. So, okay, now it makes sense. Now it is kind of valid for me in right now in this moment. So I accept these things. For me, this is the check mechanism I have. If it makes connection to other and the basic ideology and philosophy of way of impeccability, okay, now it makes sense. Because
Right.
the basic philosophy is proven to me.
Yeah.
And yes, and that this is how I just check things, and this is how I like, okay, it saves a lot of energy, and it saves a lot of unnecessary overwhelming. Because
Unnecessary.
if I check, yeah, if I check something like, okay, any new perspective, any new idea or information comes to me, and when I check it, that okay, if it makes connection to vital, vibrant connection to the basic ideology or basic philosophy I have trust in, like way of impeccability. If it makes connection to impeccability, it proves me like, okay, yes, it makes sense. I don't need to go through to the end just to think about, to ponder my head on that. Okay, now it makes connection. Okay, it makes sense. That's it. So it saves a lot of energy.
Right.
Yes, and this idea of area of influence, area of concern, it saves a lot of energy. It saves, and it gives you kind of always a positive mood. Because when I know, when I understand that I cannot do anything,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
then I will not bother about that. Of course, this thing that okay, it has to be changed, it has to be shifted, but I'm not responsible. I'm not in capacity to do anything right there. So I will not be in a negative mood at all.
Right. And I do think that, I think that's something that is happening in our world right now is that we are all so aware of all of these bad things that are happening that we don't have any way of making any better.
Exactly.
And so that is very depressing and it
Yes.
makes you feel really helpless and, you know, so yeah. And, you know, I mean, I've been aware of that, but it's like, I can't say, well, I can't stop caring about it. You know, I mean, just because I'm not able to do something doesn't mean I don't care, but I can still care
Exactly.
without, but if it's not something that I have an influence over, if it's not in my area of influence,
Yes.
I can still care about it, but I can let it go.
To care about it. It will be in my mind whenever I will have something to make any change, anything to help it, that situation or that person, I will be able to do that. I'll be ready to do that.
Right.
But till then, I will not be suffering and creating negativity around me and inside me.
Right. Okay, that's really, really helpful. I appreciate that.
I have news for you guys.
What's that?
You have a lot more influence than you think.
Sorry, say it again, sir.
So
Messing
you
us
have
up
a
now.
lot more influence than you think. So when you go to the doctor's office, right, when you go to the clinic or the hospital, and they have those charts up there, right? And they tell you, you know, 1 infects 2 and 2 infects 4 and 4 infects 8. And you see all those people that you could possibly influence in the world, right? Just little old you, one of you. Okay. So what is the thing in the world that you have the most influence on? That you're in charge of? What are you in charge
Okay,
of?
sorry for me, you are not
I'm
clear,
going
so
to assume the answer is me,
Exactly.
myself.
Exactly. Now. So you have complete influence over yourself. Now, if you get yourself in order and you have that independence of being and you can exhibit a way of being that is self-sufficient, and I don't mean self-sufficient in a physical way, you know, food and economics, no, self-sufficient emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, mentally, yes? In other words, you get your stuff together, yeah?
Right.
How influential would that be in the world?
It would. Okay, but here's what I'm thinking. I keep coming back and thinking about the definition about diplomacy and how the idea that you are influencing someone in the sense that you are giving them an alternative. You're
Choices,
giving them
options.
an option. You're showing them with your life that there is something
Exactly.
besides
That's
their
my
way of
point.
thinking.
Exactly. So the most diplomatic way to influence is to be. Is
Right.
to be the alternative, is to be the choice. You aren't saying to somebody, hey, you know what, there are other choices. And they say, yeah, what are they? Well, you can live with integrity, you can live ethically, you can live with impeccable. And I say, yeah, that all sounds great. Be it. And now that, whoa, wow, that's a hell of an alternative. Here's somebody who celebrates life, who celebrates choice, who enjoys being themselves. Man, that's very influential.
Right.
Yeah. Be the alternative, be the option, be the choice. Yes?
okay, sorry, I cannot say anything because you are not clear for me. I don't
Yeah,
know, somehow.
sorry, hold on, let me see
Clear?
if I can get a bit more clear. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
Jay's voice is clear.
my phone's battery unfortunately died, you see. So that's why I'm having
Oh, dear.
some trouble here. That's why, and it's just, I'll try it. Maybe it's charged enough to, it ran on Zoom for a while and then it died. So let's try again. Oh, okay.
So it is very unclear for me, so I cannot say that what you were saying about this thing. So
Yeah. So
just
hang in there.
okay, just to make the obvious, in capital D diplomacy, not in regular diplomacy, I'm not sure about that, but in capital D diplomacy, we don't actually present any perspective to anyone to influence their decision or
Right.
any their choices. We just make it obvious for them that yes, like opening a door for them where they can see that there are multiple perspectives available to them. We are not showing or presenting any specific or multiple perspectives to them. Like, okay, this can be this can be no, but we just open the door where they can see themselves that there are multiple perspectives available.
Okay, so how do you open the door?
Yes, how we open the door. First, we just open the communication, let the communication open. We don't just push them in the corner and don't let them fall into that thing that, okay, yes, this is the only thing. I'm going to fight for that. I'm going to defend my perspective. No, we just make the communication very soft and gentle and open for them where they become more open, but like, okay, yes, they are sharing and I am sharing also. So this is the thing. We just open the door for the communication and make it more gentle and more smooth. The first thing. It's a very strong point of capital D diplomacy for me. To make the communication subtle, gentle, and smooth.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
second,
yeah.
when they are in communication mode, they are open. Everyone, no matter how stubborn they are, they become open to multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
Because I am here and I'm all here for you.
Yeah.
I'm presenting myself, not to influence them. I'm presenting myself as an ear. Like, okay, oh, I'm here and I'm here to listen what you are sharing. And this
I'm
is
here
going,
and I'm an ear. Exactly.
yes, exactly. And this is what we do in the capital D diplomacy. And we create that space, we create that environment where instead of dictating any perspective, they start sharing. And this is the opening of the door.
Yeah. Yeah. To give an example, you're talking about somebody, your friend who's all into the politics, you know,
Right.
and what he shares. Instead of saying, you know, normally we say, we fall into this trap that we feel we have to agree or disagree.
Right.
You know, but we can say, wow, that's a very interesting perspective. It's really amazing on this issue. How many perspectives are there? For instance, I heard somebody say this, and you give perspective one. And then, you know, there's another perspective on it, and you give perspective two. And then, wow, now that I think of it, okay, and you share perspective three. Wow, it's so amazing how many perspectives there are on a particular topic. Now, you
Right.
very subtly have introduced alternative options, which may or may not have some effect on their perspective, especially, you know, if their perspective is one of those inherently contradicting perspectives and you show a more logical, sensible one. But you aren't saying you bad, you wrong. You're not even discussing his topic. You are discussing the fact that on any given topic, there are multiple perspectives, and you find this fascinating. So you come at the problem indirectly. Very, very, very diplomatic, yes?
Yes.
So we shift the focus to something abstract, which is non-threatening, but which includes the additional perspectives. So we are not being confrontational, we're being additional. Yes?
Yes. Okay.
Very simple, you know, very simple technique to bring in, you know, specific techniques. Yeah. I want to go back to the influence and the concern. Beena said something very interesting about concern.
Yeah.
She said that for her, her concern is a big fat ego issue.
Right.
Okay, she didn't quite say that, but
Yes.
you know, we have to be very careful with concern being an ego issue. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Have to be very careful.
Right. I can see that.
Furthermore, let's take the example of your flowers, balancing all of the gloom in the world.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Now, what can we balance injustice and unfairness with?
Balance injustice.
In the, you know, in the same way.
Well, I'm trying to think of like an actual thing or
It doesn't matter. Anything, it don't matter.
well, obviously, you know, justice and fairness.
Yeah, but I mean, in that same context as the small measure of that, you know, your flowers were this tiny little speck in all the big gloom. So we have to understand that, you know, injustice is an endemic part of the world, right? It just is.
Right.
But we can counterbalance it with our bit of impeccability, no?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
With our bit of ethics.
Right. And that can, you know, when we do that, that can be showing the world that there is an alternative. There is an alternative.
Exactly.
Injustice.
Exactly. That's the point I wanted to make about us being this positive virus.
Right.
That we can never, ever underestimate the power of being that positive virus. We don't have to be it, but we could be it. And this is where we actually can be massively influential. How many people started COVID virus in America?
How many people started it?
Yeah.
Only one.
Exactly. Exactly my point. Not all viruses are negative. They can be positive too, yes?
Right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. So there's nothing to stop you from being that positive virus. We don't know if we're going to be it. But my point is that our influence is huge.
Right.
Now, we don't want to also be in a situation where we are devaluing our positive virus.
Right.
Right. So impeccability is this incredible potent virus, because when it's coupled with independence of being, it is phenomenally influential. Yes?
Right.
Because we are now showing in our being that here is something that works, that has power, that has honor, that has sensibility, that has sobriety, that has awesome, that has appreciation, that has joy. This is what everybody's looking for in the world. Now, what makes it especially potent is that we are not going around selling it.
Right.
That's what really gives it influence. Yes?
Right.
The moment you try and sell something, everybody's always suspicious. Yes?
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. And that's why impeccability, when coupled with independence of being, becomes a super virus.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make the point that, yes, Beena, I love what you said about, focus on your area of influence, not your area of concern. This is, it's incredible. However, when we think of influence, we tend to think of it as a direct action. Yes?
Right.
But it doesn't, it's not
I
exactly.
still see how that statement rings true, even with what you are saying, that, we pay attention to our area of influence, and our area of influence, whether it's big or small or whatever, and when that's driven by impeccability and independence of being, it may be big, but still there's a difference between influence and concern. I mean, to me, those are the two important words. Influence means doing something or being something, embodying something, and concern is just worrying about it. So what we should be focusing on is our being and our doing, not our worrying. Does that make sense? Anybody there?
Oh, it's crazy. Yes, yes, exactly. This is what I feel that, and this is what I have trust in. That if I live in my area of influence, mostly focused on my area of influence, it is not like I'm completely disregarding or completely eliminating my area of concern. It is going to be there. It is natural. It is natural, and especially for people who have some sort of sensibility. They have some sort of care and compassion.
Yes.
They have this area of concern.
Yes.
Like I might be concerned about my neighbor's pets if they are abusing them. This is going to be in my area of influence that I can communicate with them. I can interact and I can say that, okay, this is not a good thing. Okay, what we can do about this? But in general, I feel concerned about any sort of animal abuse. I feel that, but this is not my area of influence. I will focus on where I can make a difference.
Right.
So this is what, for me, all basic idea of area of living in area of influence rather than area of concern is.
Right. I mean, yeah, I think it still holds true.
Yes.
I think that what you said and what Syl said work
Yeah.
really well. Sarah, I think you should get down. Yeah, you're kind of crowding my space.
Sarah feel neglected and she says that, okay, you need to understand that I'm also here. It's my time. It's my time too. But Sarah, this is just 2 hours. Come on.
Well, that's a
You
long
just take only 2 hours.
a long time.
Really?
Hello, Sarah.
You take only 2 hours, Sarah. I was just telling her that, okay, come on. Try to understand that. You just take only 2 hours.
She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. I think so this is a big thing for me. I guess because of my teacher heart,
Yes.
this is a big shift for me and something that I really want to understand and that I think is huge. The idea of um, doing good for other people
Doing.
without it being direct, so
Yes.
direct,
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And
So
how
I have
that
a big
works.
question. Yeah, I have a big question for you, Kay.
Okay.
Your little kiddies, what
Yes.
were they more influenced by? What you told them or what you did?
Oh, absolutely what you did.
Exactly.
Yes. What you told when
Exactly. Exactly. So our most influential way of being influential possible is to be. Yes.
right.
They
So,
copied what you were, your being. They copied, and we are hardwired for this. Because of course, what people can say and I talk nonsense, but their actions, these are always closer to the truth. So our inner bureaucrats know the difference. They say, I don't care what you say, it's what you do that matters. And so we copy what people are, their ways of being. Now, when we pay attention to this, we see that this is where we come to be influential through being rather than saying or doing even. Yes, it's your actions, but your actions come from your being, right? I don't mean actions like, okay, you standing at the soup kitchen. Yes, that is an action that does make a difference. But if you see somebody standing in that soup kitchen line and they are there, look at me, look how charitable I am, look how what a caring, wonderful person I am. Dude, this is bogus, right? So it's their being that makes a difference. Impeccability combined with independence of being, right? It's kind of hard to have independence of being without impeccability, but you could, I guess. So when you combine those two, this now becomes a very real self-proving influence because this is working for them. I may not adopt everything you're doing, but I can trust it, whereas I can't trust anything else, right?
right.
This is why this is so incredibly influential. Now, if you take kindergarten teaching, you got to say stuff. But if you use this simply
Right.
as a vehicle to exhibit and bring out and demonstrate your beingness, to stimulate it and cue it and show it in different situations, this is massively, massively, massively huge. Huge, huge.
I think
And it's not just
my
kindergarten, of course. I mean, everybody's kindergarten.
right, right. Yeah. Well, the world is the kindergarten. I mean, it's all the same. But just bigger people, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Thank you.
I think though a lot of it for me at this point that I'm trying to figure out is motivation. My motive. What is my motive? Um,
There you go. This is key.
Not trying to teach someone or even influence them necessarily. I mean the idea of just letting people know that there is an alternative, there's an option, there's a different way, whatever. Just being that as opposed to saying it, writing it, showing it, telling it, whatever. This is a big shift for me that
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
trying to work out.
Okay. Okay. So in on the context of motive on this topic, I'm going to go a little bit of a roundabout way, but this is the theme that I want to elucidate on here. When we look at the problems in the world, and to me, one of the saddest things in the world that where people they lose out by default because they do not realize, are not aware, or have been conditioned to believe, and through their goodness, they've been manipulated and subverted to believe that choice is not an option for them.
Choice is an option
It's
for.
not an option for them.
Oh, it's not an option.
It's not an option. This is what we taught. Be obedient, be obedient, be obedient. It's not up to you to choose. You don't have choices. You can't choose. Now, you're a sinner, you're bad, you're useless, you're a child, you're a nincompoop, you're an idiot. Who says you can choose? Right? You can't choose. That's it. We thought that choice is not an option.
Right.
Except here comes Kay with her independence of being and her way of impeccability. Say, holy crap and moly, that's a different way of being. This is somebody who's they're different to me. They're different to everybody else.
Right.
Now, it's not what you are exhibiting that is the issue. It is the fact that you are exhibiting that you have choice. You're not the usual. You are different, which by implication means you got there through choice. Especially when you're exhibiting independence of being and your impeccability. It's inherent in your way of being. I chose this. Independence of being cannot come about any other way. Yes.
Right. That
So
is interesting. Okay.
now we get to say again, Kay.
That's kind of a big, that's a big
Exactly.
thing. It
Exactly.
doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. I don't have to tell them what the choices are. I don't have to tell them
Exactly.
which is the best choice or the worst choice. I just have to tell them, you have a choice. You
Exactly.
have the power.
I am a representation of choice. That's it. Remember, I started this little story under the heading, the motivation. My center column, my focus here is motivation. Yes.
Right.
Me personally, I'm very motivated to share choice, to exhibit choice, to share and bring into the world the awareness that choice itself is a choice. This is very motivating for me.
Right.
Because this is something that I can ethically do, and I know there's no downside to it, because without choice, there's no awareness. None. Zero. Right? There's no freedom.
Right.
No
I like that. I really like that. That is really good. That is really good. That helps me because you're not manipulating people. You're not telling them what to do. You're not giving an opinion or whatever. You're just making the point that they have a choice.
Exactly. And there's a deeper ethical issue, right? As soon as we get onto this path of independence of being, you automatically become an influencer. Automatically, you start queuing. Anybody who's struggling, they automatically look to those who basically got their stuff together. Oh, they must know something. They kind of got it together, and they look to you, and they are influenced by you. Whatever you do, cues them. That's it. That's just the way the world works. There's no getting away from it, right? So it's not about choosing to be an influencer. If you're already on this path of self-independence, you're going to be an influencer whether you like it or not. Now, everything you do thus influences in some way or another. You can't get away from influence, right?
Right.
Which means we have to be responsible, not just take responsibility, but be responsible with our influence, with this inadvertent influence. Yes.
Right.
The only thing that I can legitimately influence without any qualm is choice.
Right.
But this, to me, not only do I do this because, well, I don't have any other choice, it's the only thing I can legitimately influence. My choice, alternative option. But. This not only is the only thing I can do, but it is also just happens to be something which is incredibly empowering and motivating.
Right.
Because it's legit. And it is influential to the extreme. Yes.
Right.
You know, we
really
don't
good.
realize this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I think that's kind of a big, that's a big thing. And it's
huge.
Very, it's a good answer for my lack of understanding of that whole thing.
Exactly.
I was feeling, how do you quote unquote help people without influencing or manipulating or whatever. Yeah, I love that. That is really good.
Exactly. Capital diplomacy. What are your choices? What you can just ask. Just ask. What are the choices? What are the alternatives to this? Is that the only way this situation can be resolved? And what is the? I don't have to present a counter argument to your narrow-minded choice. I can ask you,
Right.
what does your opposition say to this? And they tell you, boy, you know, when you actually ask somebody to spell out the other side's viewpoint, to explain it to you, sometimes, you know, I know, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing, you know. So, you know, like argue for the other side. Okay, what's the third party say? What other choices are there? You don't have to present anything personally. You just simply have to focus on choice. Amazing.
Right. That is really good. I like that a lot.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Very,
Very, very cool. I mean, you know, you could probably design a whole kindergarten curriculum, school curriculum focused on this criteria, choice. Yes. So now we look at choice, we go into a little bit deeper. You know, as you get advanced, you start looking at things like statistics and probability. Those massively influence our choices, don't they?
yes. Well, and
I
then,
go
you
swimming
know, I
because
mean,
I'm afraid of being eaten by a shark. On average, only 6 people a year die of shark attacks. Six people in the whole world every year. Yeah. More people
right.
die from bison. Death from falling off a bison or being because they want to go and ride a bison. Seriously. They want to ride the bison. There's no clue what a bison. I think the bison are all very passive and you can do this. But the moment they climb on the back, of course, the bison doesn't like it. And then anyway. So my point is more
Oh,
people get killed by bison than get killed by sharks. So
wow.
probability.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah. Isn't that amazing? Or bee stings, you know.
amazing.
Yeah, more people die from bee stings or tornadoes, or all sorts of stuff. Shark attacks, killing people, bites are a different thing, but killing very few. At any rate, my point is when we understand statistics, it changes our choice.
Right, right,
Most
right.
people don't understand statistics and they hear about a shark attack and it's all gruesome. They don't know what the risk is involved, so they don't go in the water. It's totally idiotic. I mean, first of all, there are no sharks in this water that you hear at. And second of all, even in where the sharks are, you know, it's still very low. So, you know, odds are in your favor. So it opens up choice to know statistics. I'm simply making the point that as we get into the complexities of choice, and you know we get more complicated with it, more sophisticated, we see things like probability, statistics, we see things like ethics, integrity, impeccability, sobriety, long-term perspective shifting, you know, context shifting, looking at overview perspective, death, etc., strategy, all the stuff. So choice becomes a pathway to independence of being and impeccability. Yeah. So this
Right.
one thing, the moment somebody clicks that they have choices, you start them on a path to infinity, essentially. Mm, mm,
Hmm.
mm.
Okay. That's
Imagine if
things
the
to think about.
entire school curriculum was geared towards educating you on how to choose.
Right, right, right.
That's it. Effort reward right away. Best use of energy. You need to know how to choose. Yeah. Strategy. You need to know how to choose. That's it. Decision
Yeah,
making, fast. All of it is all choice. All choice. All choice.
right.
Awareness and choice is the same thing in others. Yeah. Awareness and choice is the same thing. I cannot force
Right.
awareness onto you, but certainly, I can certainly share choice and influence you to realize that you have choice. Not to make a particular choice, just to realize that you do have choice. This I can press on you. I don't have to press it on you.
Right.
I can share it gently, but this is something I can legitimately influence you to be aware that you have choice, not to make a particular choice. That's manipulation, but that you have choice. Choice is an option. Choice is a choice for you. Now we're
Right.
not taught this. You're a sinner. You useless. You're a child. You're uneducated. You're not a somebody. You're not a celebrity. You're not a famous person. Who are you to choose? We taught this. We forget that we are still essentially operating under a feudal system when it comes to our psychology.
Yes.
That's it. I mean,
True.
what the whole feudal system, everybody, we the ones who know, you peasants, we have to choose for you. You're too ignorant and stupid to choose for yourself. That's what they literally said. Some of them might even have believed it, but they all knew it was just massive manipulation. And that whole system is built on removing choice. Even
Right.
removing the very idea that you think you have choice is kind of a bad thing. It's almost sinful to think you have choice. What a
Oops.
joke. What a con, you know, it's amazing.
And the reasoning behind that is not concern for the person that you think is incapable of choosing. The reason is, I want to be the only one who gets to
Absolutely, it's
choose. So,
manipulation and control. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yep, 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 yep.
which is interesting when you think about the whole thing now about limiting certain people's opportunities to vote, because voting is a choice. So
Exactly.
I want you to have choice. Okay, I'm ready.
It's like why, you know, the feudal system, the democracy was the dirtiest word you could possibly imagine.
Interesting. Okay.
Because once you say
Super.
you can vote, well, by implication, you choosing, the whole system starts to collapse. It's a most
Right.
poisonous idea, you know. And there were times in history where, you know, promoting things like democracy would be a heresy, and you would get burnt at the stake for such ideas,
Right.
or you know, whatever, drawn in court or whatever. Something really horrible would happen to you. It's astonishing. It's astonishing.
Right.
So I do want to add something to how in the dictionary of power in under our self-conceptions. I don't think we have it there, Beena, that I know of, but to be a choice warrior.
Ooh, I like that.
Me too. Me too. I do consider myself a choice warrior. Beena, what about you?
Right.
Beena?
I still don't use the word warrior for myself.
I know.
Yeah.
I have trouble with warrior, I have to admit.
I
I was
don't use that.
thinking of what else could I say besides warrior?
Okay, so hang on. In this case, when we use capital W warrior, are we talking about somebody who uses violence or uses strategy? Right, right. So I
It's
want
just
to
an
say,
association.
yeah, an ultimate warrior never uses violence. Why? Because they will use strategy first, and sensibility and sobriety, and promote choice and capital diplomacy and everything. Yes, these are their weapons.
Right. And I get that. I totally get that. For me, I still have a hard time.
Okay, so you see a choice wizard about that.
Yeah, I thought of that too. Choice wizard.
Because wizard, really,
Yes.
you know, people, they don't understand the word wizard. It's not somebody who has magic powers. That's a mage. A wizard is a wise odd.
A wise what?
A wise odd. Just odd, wise odd. It comes from the word wise. A wizard is a wise person. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like you're a retard, you know, you retained, you yelled back. Okay, it's odd is a suffix that says you're a type of a person that has this quality. You see? So
Oh,
you're a wise odd. Yeah. So a wizard means a wise person. That's it. Doesn't mean somebody who can do magic. That yeah, I mean that got associated, but technically a one who actually is a magic user is a mage.
okay. That makes sense. I like
So
that.
can we be a
wizard.
choice wizard?
Choice wizard. I like it. Okay. That is a good one. Okay.
There is a reason why we use the term warrior, because it brings death into it. So when we are saying we are playing for high stakes, when death is on the
Right.
table, you bring out all the stops, right? We are playing for big stakes. So there's no messing about. There's no indulging. There's no saying, I gotta be squeamish. I can't do this. Well, it's awkward. No, none of that nonsense. You know, when death's on the line, when your life is on the line, when other people's lives are on the line, this is a big issue. When it comes to choice, you want to come and tell me people's lives are not on the line? Hell yes, they are. So this is why, you know, we are fighting for something very real, and absolutely death is on the table. So that's why, again, you know, please, I'm not advocating that you need to use wizard, but I am saying it is important to understand that this is very real. And, you know, if you're not going to fight for your death, well, they're saying, well, too bad. There you go. Bye-bye. Cheers. So, we got to be real a little bit. So that's why I like Wizard. I'm sorry, Warrior, because it brings the realness of the stakes that we are playing for. We are playing for our souls. We are playing for our real lives. We are playing for our moreness. We are playing for our continuity, for our independence of being, for our freedom. These are very, very high stakes. Yes, Beena, you agree?
Yes, I agree with that. It's not like something I feel that personally, it is not with my personality. I don't want to actually, I'm not choosing to be a warrior because it is going to be, put me in a bit of aggressive kind of personality, which I don't want to activate.
That's a
It is
soldier,
there.
a warrior. A warrior is actually, I mean, truly in the classic definitions of things, warriors are not soldiers. They are not fighters. There's a very big difference. A warrior almost never fights. A warrior is a strategist. A warrior is one who will use it if necessary, but they actually never ever fight. They have all sorts of other
It's
techniques.
not like that. It's a bad term for me. No, it's not like that. But it is something that I feel I don't want to resonate myself with that. Uh, it is
Yeah,
there. It
yeah,
is
yeah.
inside me. It is natural. But I'm just choosing it to not activate it, not make it more
I'm
obvious
just
to
saying there's
myself.
a reason why I use the term because I'm trying to introduce something more. Unfortunately, I've not found a replacement term. Agent, maybe. That's the closest. The choice
And
agent.
then it doesn't have the same feel
Exactly.
as
It doesn't have the
warrior.
same ring to it, right? Now, a choice wizard works nicely. A choice facilitator works very well.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I'm thinking about the idea of warrior. I mean, normally I don't think of myself that way, and it's kind of interesting because we've talked about this today, the whole injustice thing.
Right.
Yes.
When, I have this thing and I call it the mama bear
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
That-
Yes.
And when I think of me being a warrior, I mean, when Erica was little, if someone had been doing something that was going to be harmful to Erica, I mean, I would have absolutely turned into a warrior. And
You always were a warrior. Exactly.
if, at school, I mean, if somebody was would have done something, if someone came into the building and was, hurting, I mean, I would absolutely have been a warrior and without even questioning, it
Oh,
just would have, would have happened. So when
all
I get
mothers
into
are
that
warriors.
protective, yes, absolutely. When I get in that protective mode, that's when the warrior part is really appropriate for me.
Oh, could you be a choice mother?
A what?
A choice mother.
Oh,
You,
it's breaking.
tell
A
me again.
choice mother.
A what mother?
Choice mother.
A choice mother. There you go.
Yes. Okay, so it is not us only, Sil, because I just saw a post from Yoga Anjali, and she's also saying that Zoom is trying something new, and she's having trouble with sound. So she was suggesting her audience that please watch my video if you are having trouble with my sound. Watch it on Insta. So it is something we
It's
can't
not
do anything.
just us. Yes, not just us. Well,
Um,
it looks like it's time to go anyway. And
I just want
there's
to add
been
one
a
more
lot of
thing.
really
On,
super
onto
good things for me today.
Yeah. So this, in the original conception of a warrior, the warriors were epitomes of honor and nobility, being actually noble, not having hereditary nobility.
Right.
So, when you put all that together, I just want to share where I'm coming from with that. But I like this choice mother, choice facilitator, yeah,
Yes.
choice wizard,
Right.
options,
Right.
yeah, or
Right.
choice dancer, you can even say.
All right. I'm going to write that down here. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. That will give me some good
Fantastic.
things to think about. We
Yeah.
didn't actually go back and finish the last.
I want to. I want to. I want to. It's all Beena's fault, but that's okay. We'll do it next time.
Okay. It's okay.
I was talking too much today, and that's why
Oh,
you guys were not able to.
No,
it led
absolutely
us.
not.
You know,
No, no,
it
no.
led us on a beautiful journey, and it's very potent. So I just want to leave this point that with injustice and unfairness.
Oh, it's breaking big time, sir.
Oh, oh. All right. Give me 1 second here.
Sorry. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
In the meantime,
Oh,
please.
one moment, Beena.
I
One
just
moment.
want.
One moment. One moment. Oh.
Oh, it is done now.
Wow,
Ah,
it looks
ah.
right.
Yeah,
So
it's a charcoal drawing, so it is not pencil. So
Very
that's
good.
why it is a bit messy. So
Right.
this is.
wow, it's pretty. It looks so three-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of the
Thank you.
benefits of charcoal is you run out of mascara. There you go. That's so silliness. I want to say with injustice and unfairness, a really powerful,
Yes.
powerful point. We have to understand the world. We do. We already know very clearly the world does not work the way we think about it. Yes.
Right.
So, you in your life, what have you experienced that at the time you thought was grossly unfair and unjust, but later turned out to be a boon and a gift?
Okay.
And it
Right.
was
I'm gonna.
maybe a bit of a harsh lesson, but well, you never learned your lessons before, and this was your slap upside the head. It was actually a gift
Right.
from the
Right.
universe. So when we look at injustice and unfairness through this lens, it changes everything. We
Right.
assume we assume what we see as unfair or unjust doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember watching the Rodney King trial. You remember that,
Right.
right?
Right.
Those
Right.
officers, most of them should never have been officers because they went through all the history of these people. A lot of
Right.
them were right. They were kind of they didn't have the temperament, the mindset for it. They got into it for all sorts of nonsense reasons, and they all had warnings
Right.
to get out earlier, and they never did. I remember that so clearly. It was so obvious to me. Boy, you guys should never have even been in a situation. You shouldn't have been policemen because they'd all had similar sort of incidents in their record and they should have gotten up. They should have gotten the clue on the wall. So my point is that,
Right.
when things happen, that there's a deeperness to it that we need to perceive and make the effort to. And when we look at injustice and unfairness through this lens, it changes. Then we will clearly see so often it's not truly unjust. Furthermore, we need to have injustice and unfairness, at least the possibility for them. Because without those, how do you know your choices are truly free?
True.
You don't. So
Yes.
if you're designing this world, you will not remove unfairness and injustice. You cannot remove it because you will be removing the actual, real, true, free choice. Yes?
Right.
Right. So if you the designer of this world, okay, you will choose to keep injustice and unfairness, at least the possibility. Yeah. You want to remove the option for people to be unjust or unfair, right?
Right.
They need to know that their choices really, really are free. So all evil serves a fantastic purpose. It's necessary. Yes.
Right.
So when we
Right.
think of unfairness and injustice in all of these different contexts, that yes, it works out well in some way or another. If you listen, if you pay attention, there's some good that comes out of it that we don't see, right? We can't assume it doesn't because we know from our own experience it does. Secondly, it has to be there. It's
No.
unfortunate that people make the choices, right? It's unfortunate that people make the stupid choices, but it cannot be avoided. And it demonstrates to us that we have real free. So it's a
Right.
massive way to unhook ourselves from the justice trap.
Right. 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 I see that. I
So
understand.
a little bit of homework. Look up the Justice Trap by Wayne Dyer. It's
Okay.
in a book called Your Erroneous Zones. It's a chapter in that book. I suspect if you were to just Google the Justice Trap by Wayne Dyer, you'll get that chapter. That was a very cool little book. That's very, very, it was a huge deal at the time, but it's fallen by the wayside because it's very basic, but it's very potently, massively cool and awesome. And I remember that
Oh,
one particular chapter from that. It's called The Justice Trap. Where he deals with exactly what we're talking about. I don't remember how he resolved it. It doesn't matter. Just the idea that justice is a big trap, that was enough for me.
So what was the name of the whole book?
Your erroneous zone.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, not erogenous, erroneous. Very
I
clear.
know. Right. I remember both of
It was
those,
in the 70s, right? It was a big book in the 70s.
right. Yeah. Long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne Dyer.
Okay. I will look it up.
Brilliant. But when you
All
look at
right.
particular chapter, there was others, but I remember that chapter in this context, you know. So I'm keen to hear on that. So give us a repeat back and a takeaway on it, please. Be very helpful.
Okay. I'll see what I can find. All right. Okay,
Love
guys.
you, love you too,
Love you.
Kate. Love you
Talk to you
too. And
later.
we'll see you when we see you. Bye.
See you Monday.
Yes. Right.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye for now. Bye for now.
There we go. Bye, Kate. That was a quick exit there.